This is Late Night. We hope you're doing well. And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news. In a phone interview this morning with Fox and Friends, Donald Trump said that the late Senator Lindsey Graham would call him all the time and added, quote, "I'd say, stop calling me, Lindsey." What a touching tribute. Very rare for the person giving the eulogy to say, "I wish I'd talked to him less." President Trump posted on Truth Social on Saturday night and said, quote, "Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the greatest people and senators I have ever known, is dead." Man, that's how you can tell Trump is a dad. There's nothing they love more than telling you who died. Hey, you remember Dave, that guy I used to play horseshoes with in the Army? Yeah, he died. All right, here's your mother. That's right, President Trump announced in a post on Truth Social the Republican Senator Lindsey Graham had passed away and added, quote, "Details and arrangements to follow." Wait, why are you in charge of the arrangement? He has a family. Lindsey would have wanted us to serve cheeseburgers. President Trump hosted several race car drivers today at the White House to promote next month's IndyCar race through Washington, D.C. That's right. First UFC, now IndyCar. Is he celebrating America's 250th birthday or his 12th? Next week, the Washington Monument's just gonna be for tetherball. It's a good graphic. Graphic came back strong, right out of the hiatus. Graphics came back strong. The Wall Street Journal published a report recently on a new diet that has become popular with senior members of the Trump administration, which is heavy on sauerkraut and other fermented foods. Oh my God, can you even imagine the methane cloud in that room? They're busy fortifying the White House. Meanwhile, someone could take out the whole administration with a match. When asked yesterday in Meet the Press about Iran's claims that it has closed the Strait of Hormuz, President Trump said, quote, "It's open as far as I'm concerned." What? You're supposed to be the president. You sound like a guy getting arrested after breaking into a Taco Bell. It's open as far as I'm concerned. President Trump warned in a Truth Social post on Friday that he has left instructions in case he is assassinated by Iran. Specifically, clear my search history. The CDC has opened an investigation into an E. coli outbreak that is linked to frozen blueberries. The best thing about having RFK Jr. as health secretary is that when you tell people you have diarrhea, they have to ask, which one? California man recently set a Guinness World Record by solving 2 Rubik's Cube puzzles while skydiving. The previous record was almost 2. Didn't even get his name on the tombstone. They asked his family, like, "You don't want to put his name on it?" They're like, "Yeah, put dumb mother." They're like, "We're not going to do that." They're like, "Then leave it blank." Authorities in Las Vegas recently arrested the former board president of a Little League for allegedly embezzling nearly $65,000 from the organization. As for how authorities figured it out, there were signs. Finally, Tesla recently launched its robo-taxi service in Miami. They got the idea when they realized absolutely no one in Miami is good to drive. And that was a monologue, everybody. Look at us. Back from hiatus. Happy to be with you. And we got a great show for you tonight. You know her from Interstellar, The Dark Knight Rises, the Devil Wears Prada franchise. Currently, she's starring in The Odyssey, which is in theaters starting this Friday, July 17th. Anne Hathaway back on the show. Our friend Anne is back on the show. You know him from War Machine and Fast X, as well as shows like Reacher and Titans. He's starring in Motor City. It's a great new movie, which is in theaters Friday, July 24th. Alan Ritchson is joining us. First time for Alan on the show. Very excited. Before we get to that, you guys, this is usually the part of the show where we would do our recurring segment, A Closer Look, about all the crazy stuff that's been happening in the news. But we just got back from a 3-week hiatus, and it turns out nothing happened. Yeah. Can't believe I'm saying it, but the news is normal and chill, which brings us to our new segment, Everything's Great.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
That's right. It's been a quiet 3 weeks, and what's up? Donald Trump said the ceasefire with Iran is over, and no one knows if the Strait of Hormuz is open or closed, and the Iranian blockade is back on. Donald Trump said that if Iran assassinates him, he left instructions for the U.S. government to bomb them at levels they've never seen before. All right, well, yeah, but that's great. But that's just Iran stuff. Not much else happened. What? There's a parasitic infection that causes explosive diarrhea spreading throughout the country, and that might be why Donald Trump sits like he's always on the toilet, and it turns out the CDC under RFK Jr. ended the program that monitors cases of the explosive diarrhea bug, and RFK Jr. himself hasn't gotten it, even though he gets most of his protein from snake meat he finds on the side of the road. Okay, fine, but surely that's everything. What now? The president refused to sign a bipartisan housing bill that his own party voted for and then became law anyway. He fired members of a bipartisan federal election commission, which is troublesome developments for people who worry he might try to steal the next election. The Pentagon released a new batch of UFO files, and Stephen Miller is in there 9 times? Trump flew to Turkey on the fancy golden jet he got from the Qataris, but then he had to fly back on the old Air Force One because of security concerns. Security concerns that should have been obvious when you try to retrofit a free jet from Qatar. All right, fine, but that has to be it. What? Kash Patel said he has a gold-plated jet ski and called a media outlet a dumbass, even though he's the one who always looks like he has explosive diarrhea pressing against the back of his eyeballs. The Trump administration drained the reflecting pool for a 3rd time on Friday, ballooning the cost of a project no one asked for to more than $16 million. The Secretary of the Interior claimed vandals cut a 350-foot gash in the blue paint in the bottom of the pool, but refused to provide evidence because, hold on, let me see if I have this right. That's insane. And if you want to know how insane, it means someone with a knife did this times 350? What's that? The Trump administration arrested a former Olympian for touching a piece of the blue paint that peeled after the administration dumped hydrogen peroxide into the pool to kill the algae that filled the pool after Trump renovated it the first time and made it look like a Ninja Turtle puked up Mountain Dew. Trump posted an insane 589-word rant in which he claimed the algae in the reflecting pool was criminally made. J.D. Vance said, if Watergate happened today, it would be a 12-hour news story, which is ironic because Water Green is already a 3-week story in counting. A new report said that Trump made over $2 billion during his first year in office, while nearly 1 million investors lost $3.8 billion in his crypto coin. The White House promoted a mysterious network of Freedom Fuel gas stations offering gas at $3.47 a gallon, which is still way higher than the $2 Trump promised, and then claimed they had nothing to do with it and wouldn't reveal who funded it. Dr. Oz posted a video of himself doing squats that made it look like he was practicing for the explosive diarrhea bug. Well, Trump said he was going to cut off all trade with Spain and started a feud with the Prime Minister of Italy. New Mexico said the Justice Department is hindering its investigation of Jeffrey Epstein's rape. Trump attacked Muslim kindergartners in Minnesota for wearing clothes he didn't like. Cabinet officials fought over who would get to ride in a fighter jet for a July 4th flyover. Pete Hegseth got mad at military leaders because he saw some sailors with the New York Times reported that Marco Rubio is secretly running Venezuela. Trump says he wants to take over Greenland again. He posted another rant claiming he aced a cognitive test just a few days after calling the social media site TikTok Tic Tac. And inventing a new country called the Islamic Republic of Japan. Graham Plattner dropped out of the Maine Senate race after credible allegations of sexual assault. Everyone thought Mitch McConnell was dead because he disappeared. Then Lindsey Graham said he was going to go check on him with his office. Then Graham died. Trump intervened to get a red card in a World Cup match overturned while admitting he didn't know what a red card was. And then when Belgium beat the U.S., they made fun of Trump by doing his stupid dance. A court said Trump had to pay E.J. and Carroll $5 million, and another court denied a request to put Trump's name back on the candidate. Trump misled America 250 donors into giving money to a group he controls, and the Great American State Ferry plant in Washington, D.C. was so empty, it looked like everyone was homesick with the diarrhea bug. All right, well, you know what? I stand corrected. It turns out, there's a lot going on. I don't know why you decided to tell me all that at the last minute. You know, like just off camera after I said everything's great, you know? I look like an idiot now. What's that? I always look like an idiot because I'm wearing a sweater in July? Well, it's cold in the studio. All right. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. There are two big stories in Washington right now: the renewed fighting in Iran and the sudden death of Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. News anchors are trying their best to cover both, even when it leads to awkward moments like this with the president.
Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. Is that true, Mr. President?
It's open as far as we're concerned. Don't talk about it. Talk about the reason that you asked me to speak.
Don't talk about it is not a reassuring answer. If you asked your mom why dad's been sleeping on the couch all week and she said, don't talk about it, you'd panic. Yeah, but Mom, he's also Googling condos for rent. Don't talk about it, boy. Our marriage is fine as far as we're concerned. Also, the whole thing with diplomacy, especially in regards to what is or is not open, is that you have to talk about it. You can't treat access to a key international waterway that controls the world's oil supply like it's a mystery. You're the president, not some magical bridge troll. So is it open or not? The answer you will hear from me once you answer my riddles 3. But look, I get it. This was a day that was about Lindsey Graham. And look, I certainly have my disagreements with Graham, but I, for one, do not believe in speaking ill of the dead. And I'm just glad that is one area where the president and I do see eye to eye.
The president has just posted on Truth Social following the death of former FBI Director Robert Mueller. It says, Robert Mueller just died. Good, I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people.
I should know by now that when I sarcastically tee up a clip, it's going to prove the opposite of what I just said. Still, like I said, I think it's best to avoid saying anything weird about Graham's passing, and I just hope Republican members of Congress, like Nancy Mace, who recently ran for governor of South Carolina and has said she is considering running for Graham's Senate seat, can live up to the same standards.
Early this morning, after learning of Senator Graham's death, just a few hours later, you posted, and correct me if I'm wrong if this is not your post, but you posted on social media a clip of Michael Corleone from Godfather 3, where he famously says, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. What did you mean by that?
Well, I love a little self-deprecating humor.
You know, I just think we need to ban politicians from posting memes. This is almost as bad as when Trump posted a meme of himself on Mount Rushmore that looked like the other presidents were trying not to make eye contact with him. Looks like Washington is saying, that's the guy I was telling you about. So the president expressed his condolences for Lindsey Graham. What about Mitch McConnell? Has the president checked in on him?
Have you spoken to Senator Mitch McConnell since his hospital?
No, I haven't.
How's he doing?
I have no idea. I have no idea how he's doing.
You don't? He's a sitting member of the United States Senate, and there was speculation for several days that he might be dead. You didn't want to at least shoot him a text? Something like, Mitch, heard you've been laid up? Diarrhea bug? Me too. My toilet looks like the Lincoln reflecting pool. Guys, we're doing a lot of diarrhea jokes today, and that's because it's a once-in-a-lifetime comedy opportunity when there's an explosive news story about explosive diarrhea. I don't want to keep talking about it, but as the host of a late-night comedy show, I am contractually obligated. The only way I'm going to stop talking about it is if I get it. I'm going to get real quiet if that happens. You'll know I have it if you tune in and I'm A, not here, or B, making the same face as Kash Patel. Besides, it's a real news story about government corruption and incompetence. Plus, now we know what Trump was talking about when he said this.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
You know, we thought he was complaining about the plumbing, but it turns out he was previewing an upcoming health crisis. So, the president's poll numbers are much like explosive diarrhea in the Republicans in Congress are in disarray, and we're back to square one in Iran. But don't worry, during his trip to the NATO summit in Turkey last week, Trump put the world at ease. He's on top of it. He knows exactly who he's dealing with.
Is the ceasefire over? Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo.
Last month, you said Iranian leaders were very rational people, nice people to deal with, strong people, smart people. Today, you said they were scum, sick people, and being led by sick people. What changed, and do you think they're...
I got to know them. I told this story yesterday. We had 111 missiles shot by the Islamic Republic of Japan.
Not sure how well you got to know them if you think they're called the Islamic Republic of Japan. Sounds like something you'd see in a Timo version of Risk called Peril. All right, so I control the Islamic Republic of Japan, and you control the United States of Armenia. Now, we rolled the 19-sided die to see who wins control of the People's Republic of... Can you believe this guy thinks there's a country called the Islamic Republic of Japan? So we're back to square one with Iran, although maybe it's square zero. I mean, you gotta at least know it's called Iran for it to be square one. Not only that, gas prices are rising, inflation's up, job growth is slowing, wage growth is down, the reflecting pool is empty, and I don't know if anyone has told you this yet, thousands of Americans have explosive diarrhea. So what exactly has Trump accomplished? Who, if anyone, is benefiting from the Trump presidency?
The Office of the Government Ethics released President Trump's annual financial disclosure report yesterday. It revealed that the president pulled in at least $2 billion in 2025.
The president reported eye-popping earnings of $1.4 billion in cryptocurrency alone. He earned $635 million from his meme coin, and he pulled in more than $500 million from token sales and $65 million from selling an equity stake related to World Liberty Financial. That, of course, is the crypto company he co-founded with his sons.
We are seeing the greatest onslaught of corruption in the history of mankind. This is somebody who every day is devoted to the accumulation of wealth and power.
You guys, that's how bad this is. Even the colonel is against it. To put it in fried chicken terms, Trump's corruption is finger-licking bad. And his only defense is that his sons are in charge of it.
My son, Eric, handles it. I don't talk to him about things such as this.
I'm very much for crypto because it's not a question of a personal thing. Because I let my kids do whatever the hell they do, they can do. I don't ever talk to them about it.
That's genius. He picked the one argument we could all believe. He doesn't talk to his kids. I don't know anything about my crypto money because it's all handled by Eric. I wouldn't go near that guy with a 10-foot pole. I want him as far away as possible. In fact, this is very exciting. I just made him ambassador to the Islamic Republic of Japan. This is the one through line of the Trump presidency. 3 weeks of constant tumult, disruption, and chaos, and the only person who benefits is Trump. And that's why his poll numbers are at an all-time low. People are disgusted by the constant stream of corruption and BS. In fact, there's so much BS.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
This has been A Closer Look.